There's a very specific moment that almost every New York City professional reaches at some point, even if they don't say it out loud. It doesn't happen during a workday, it's not when you're rushing to a meeting or squeezing onto a crowded train. It happens late at night, when the noise finally drops enough for your thoughts to catch up with you. Maybe you're standing in your kitchen, leaning against the counter, phone in your hand, scrolling half out of habit and half out of curiosity. Maybe you're sitting on the couch, realizing that for what you're paying, this apartment still feels smaller than it should. Maybe you're lying in bed thinking about how loud the street is and how early you have to be up again tomorrow. And the thought slips in. What if we moved to Connecticut? Not in a dramatic life overhaul kind of way, not quitting your job, not leaving the city behind entirely. Just more space, more quiet, a place that feels like somewhere you can actually land at the end of the day. And almost immediately another thought follows right behind it. But the commute. That single question has ended more late night Zillow sessions than almost anything else. It closes the tab, it turns curiosity into hesitation, and it pushes the idea into a mental folder labeled maybe later. Is Fairfield County actually worth it if you still have to commute to New York City? Is the commute something people truly adjust to, or is it something they tolerate until it slowly drains them? That's what this video is about. Not hype, not fear, not pretending the commute is nothing. Just an honest look at how this decision actually plays out in real life. Because this choice is rarely about minutes on a train schedule, it's about who you are, how you live, and what you want your days to feel like. Before we even talk about commuter types or towns, there's an internal debate almost everyone goes through, whether they realize it or not. One voice says, people do this every day. Millions of people commute. This is not that dramatic. Another voice says, sure, but do I want to? You picture early mornings in the dark. You picture winter evenings getting home later than you'd like. You picture missing dinners, missing workouts, missing time. Then you picture space. You picture quiet mornings. You picture a bedroom that feels calm instead of compressed. You picture weekends that don't feel rushed. And you bounce back and forth between those images, sometimes within the same minute. That tension is important. It means you're not chasing a fantasy, you're weighing a trade. Now let's talk about how that trade looks depending on how often you commute. For most people today, the starting point is hybrid work. 2 or 3 days a week in the office, sometimes fixed, sometimes flexible, sometimes dictated by meetings. For hybrid commuters, Fairfield County often works better than people expect. When you commute from towns like Fairfield or Westport a couple of days a week, those days take on a different identity. You wake up earlier, you already expect a longer day, you move with more intention. But something subtle happens. Because you know those commute days are coming, you start protecting the others. You don't overschedule the night before, you plan simpler dinners, you give yourself permission to let those days be heavier. Then the non-commute days feel noticeably different. You might start the morning shower, you might sit with coffee instead of grabbing it on the way out the door, you might take a midday break and realize how rare that used to feel. Many hybrid commuters say it's not the commute that makes the move work, it's the contrast. Commute days are intense, but they're contained. Home days feel like breathing room. That balance is hard to replicate when every day in the city feels roughly the same. Now let's talk about full-time commuting, because this is where expectations really matter. 5 days a week into New York City from Fairfield County is absolutely possible, but it requires a certain personality and setup. People who do this successfully long-term almost always live close to the train, often in places like Stamford or parts of Norwalk, where express options are strong. They tend to wake up early, they like routine, they're comfortable with structure, and most importantly, they stop expecting weekdays to look like they did in the city. Don't plan late dinners on Tuesdays, they don't stack social events on commute nights, they accept that weekdays are quieter and more utilitarian. If you're already burned out in the city, the commute will not fix that. It often magnifies it. But if your life has some stability and predictability, the routine can become manageable in a way that surprises people. Many full-time commuters describe a moment where the commute stops feeling emotional. Same train, same car, same seat, same faces. It becomes neutral, not exciting, not terrible, just part of the week. Then there's the flexible schedule commuter, which is often the sweet spot. Maybe your job is meeting-based. Maybe your hours are adjustable. Maybe you can leave early or arrive later when needed. These commuters often feel like they get the best of both worlds. They might live in towns like Darien or New Canaan, take advantage of strong train service, and shape their week around energy instead of obligation. They avoid peak stress hours. They don't feel trapped by a rigid schedule. The commute becomes something they control instead of something that controls them. Now let's slow everything down and walk through a real commute day, because this is where expectations become real. It's a commute morning. Your alarm goes off earlier than it does on work from home days. Not painfully early, but early enough that you notice a difference. The house is quiet, maybe the sun isn't fully up yet. You move through your routine almost automatically. Coffee, jacket, bag. You step outside and the air feels different than the city. There's space between sounds, no sirens, no crowd noise, just stillness. You head to the station. You know your timing. You know where you like to stand on the platform. You know which car you prefer. You sit down. And for the next stretch of time, no one needs anything from you. No emails, no conversations, no decisions. You can read, you can work. You can stare out the window and let your thoughts wander. For some people, this becomes the most mentally spacious part of their day. The commute is long, but it's predictable. And predictability is underrated. Now let's talk about what happens 6 months after the move, because this is where the decision either settles or starts to feel misaligned. At first, everything feels new. The house, the neighborhood, the quiet. You notice things you never noticed before. Birds in the morning, actual darkness at night, space between homes. The commute still feels like a big thing, but somewhere around the 6-month mark, the novelty fades and the rhythm takes over. You stop thinking about the commute as an idea. It's just part of the week. What you notice more is how your body feels. Maybe you're sleeping better. Maybe your weekends feel calmer. Maybe being home actually gives you something back. Or maybe you realize you miss the city energy more than you expected. Both reactions are valid. This is the moment where people either feel aligned or restless. And the difference is rarely the commute length. It's whether the life outside of work feels worth the trade. Before we answer that question directly, there's one more layer that almost nobody talks about, and it's the layer that usually determines whether people stay happy in this decision or quietly start questioning it. It's the in-between moments. Not the big commute days, not the weekends, not the obvious trade-offs. It's the random Tuesday afternoon when you're working from home and the house is quiet. It's the Wednesday night when you realize you don't feel like doing anything, and that's actually okay. It's the Sunday evening when you're packing your bag for the next day and noticing how you feel about it. A lot of New York City professionals assume that if they move out of the city, life becomes either dramatically better or dramatically worse. In reality, it becomes different in smaller, subtler ways. Many people notice that their relationship with time changes. In the city, time feels compressed. Everything is urgent, even rest feels scheduled. In Fairfield County, time stretches a bit. A 15-minute walk feels like a real walk. Quiet morning feels longer. Weekends don't disappear as quickly. Someone living in a coastal village like Southport might take a short walk near the water after work and feel their nervous system settle in to a way it never did before. Someone in a town like Stratford might notice how much easier everyday logistics feel, even if the town wasn't originally on their radar. Others living near an urban center like Bridgeport may find a balance between access, affordability, and express trains that surprises them. These aren't headline moments, but they add up over time. People also notice how their relationship with work shifts. Not ambition, not drive, but boundaries. Commute days create edges around the workday. Work from home days feel calmer. The week has texture instead of a blur. People who struggle often try to live Fairfield County life exactly like city life, just further away. People who thrive allow it to be different. They let evenings be quiet. They stop trying to maximize every hour, and they let the house be the point. There's also a mental adjustment that happens around ownership and responsibility that people don't always anticipate, and it's worth talking about honestly. In the city, a lot of life feels handed to you. Buildings have staff. Problems feel contained. When something breaks, it's usually someone else's issue. In Fairfield County, especially once you move into a house, life feels more tangible. You notice the weather more. You think about snow before a commute. You care about daylight in a way you didn't before. You start noticing how seasons actually change your routines. Someone living in a town like Milford might find that coastal storms change how they plan their week. Someone in Trumbull might notice how school schedules and community events shape the calendar. Someone in Shelton might appreciate how quickly errands get done compared to the city, even if it means driving instead of walking. These things sound small, but they change how grounded life feels. With that comes a different sense of pride and responsibility. Your home stops being a backdrop and starts being part of your identity. For many New York City professionals, this shift feels surprisingly satisfying. It creates a stability that offsets the effort of commuting. For others, it feels heavier than expected. Again, neither reaction is wrong. What matters is recognizing that this move is not just about distance from the city, it's about stepping into a different relationship with your time, your space, and your daily life. When people struggle, it's rarely because of the train ride being too long. It's because they underestimate how much their lifestyle would change around it. And when people thrive, it's usually because they allowed that change instead of fighting it. So is Fairfield County worth it if you still commute to New York City? For the right person, absolutely. Not because the commute is short, but because life outside of work feels fuller. The happiest people are not the ones who optimized for minutes. They're the ones who decided what mattered most and built around that feeling. If you're thinking about this move, don't just ask how long the commute is. Ask how you want your mornings to feel, how you want your weekends to feel, how you want your home to support your life. When those answers are clear, the commute question usually answers itself. And if you're still unsure, that's normal. These decisions don't need to be rushed. They just need to be intentional. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris Giolito. I live and work here in Fairfield County as a realtor, and I help New York City professionals through these exact trade-offs every day. If you're exploring this move or just gathering information, feel free to subscribe or reach out. My goal with this channel is to help you make confident decisions that actually fit the life you want to live. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.